Josh Lambert and Renai Lambert are married. They have 3 children, Dalton, Foster, and Callie. Josh is a teacher, while Renai is a stay-at-home mom. She is also a musician. As a kid, Josh had the ability to astral project. It enabled his soul to leave his body behind in physical world and travel to the astral plane. The astral plane is a realm meant for souls of living beings. The darker, deeper underbelly of astral plane is the further, inhabited by tormented, tortured, bitter souls who refuse to leave. A place not meant for souls of living beings like that of Josh. It is a cold, dark place without any light of its own. Pitch black, engulfed in thick fog. The souls in the further look for empty vessels. Empty vessels are people who leave their soulless body behind in the real world when they astral project. Once the soul is out of its body, that body can be claimed by another soul from the further for itself. But to claim another empty vessel, these souls from the further have to work over a long period of time. Josh doesn't know he is astral projecting. For him, these are fun dreams. Unfortunately, Josh stumbles into the further, not knowing what it is. There, a malevolent soul of an old woman befriends him so that she can claim his body. Soon, she breaks into the real world, hovering around Josh in real life. Josh's fun dreams turn into nightmares. He tells his mother Lorraine about the nightmares, but she dismisses him and asks him to grow up. Like all mothers, Lorraine too takes Josh's photographs on different occasions. In each of the photographs, she sees an old woman in bridal veil, creeping closer and closer to young Josh. A scared Lorraine contacts Elise Renier. Elise is her friend and also a psychic and a paranormal investigator. She hypnotizes Josh to suppress his ability to astral project, as well as his memories of the nightmare, including the photographs. Josh no longer remembers the nightmares or the old woman. Only a deep-seated dislike for being photographed stays with him. But whenever Josh is under stress, these memories break through, and he gets the vision of someone floating around his room, which gets him quite upset. That is the reason his wife Renai says he doesn't handle stress well. Josh inherited the ability to astral project from his father and passed it down to one of his children, Dalton. I wonder why he didn't pass it on to his other 2 children too. Anyway, unknown to his parents or himself, Dalton too is astral projecting. He too stumbles into the further. Now he is marked as a traveler there. Those tortured souls from the further have started gathering around Dalton. The on-screen story begins with the Lamberts moving into their new house. The house has an old, dark, gloomy attic, among other things. One evening, while Dalton is exploring the attic, he falls down and injures his head. Just then, he sees some dark, sinister presence staring at him from the darkness in the corner. He screams. His parents are downstairs. They rush up to the attic and carry injured Dalton downstairs. They put him to bed so he can rest. But Dalton doesn't wake up next morning. He is breathing all right, just isn't waking up. His worried parents take him to the hospital. His brain scans and other test results are normal, so doctors diagnose his condition as a coma. After 3 months of stay in the hospital, the Lambert couple bring Dalton home. He is still in coma. Back home, disturbing things start happening. Renai hears angry, grown-up voices on Callie's baby monitor, but when she checks her room, there is nobody there except baby Callie. The bigger shock for Renai comes when Foster asks Renai if he can change rooms, because he doesn't like it when Dalton walks around the house at night. Then one night, the front door alarm goes off. Josh investigates, but there is no one at the front door. Just as Josh codes the door shut, baby Callie starts crying and Renai screams. Renai had seen a long-haired demon-like entity standing near Callie's crib. By the time Josh goes up, this long-haired demon had vanished into thin air. Front door alarm goes off once again. Josh comes back down. The door he had bolted shut is open again. The door chain is swaying gently, as if someone had just left through the front door. Each time there is some danger, baby Callie starts crying her heart out. Perhaps Josh and Renai should pay more attention to baby Callie's crying. Next day, a stressed Josh stays late at school to grade papers. There he has visions from his childhood of someone floating over his bed, watching him while he is sleeping. His memories are buried, so this vision confuses him. Meanwhile, in the house, Renai finds a bloody, non-human claw print on Dalton's bedsheet. This alarms them both. That night, when Renai is sleeping in Callie's room, a nightmare wakes her up. In the nightmare, she has visions of someone being outside Callie's room. That someone leaves behind black claw marks on the window pane that are similar to bloody claw prints. But it is not a nightmare, because the long-haired demon is actually prowling outside Callie's room. Then all of a sudden, he is in Callie's room with Renai. He attacks Renai. Renai screams, and baby Callie lets out a high-pitched wail, as if something is wrong. Josh runs up to Callie's room, but like previous time, Nobody is there except Callie and Renai. Renai thinks their house is haunted and insists they move to a new house. Josh relents. Once in the new house, Renai assumes things would return to normalcy, but Lorraine's expressions tell another tale. Lorraine is right. Another demon entity from the further breaks into Lambert home. This time, the soul is that of a small-looking person dressed in boys' clothes, but it is a grown-up person. After this, Renai realizes it was not the house that was haunted. Scared, she brings in a priest despite Josh's objections, but Lorraine backs up Renai's decision because Lorraine had a weird dream last night. She shares the dream with them. In her dream, Lorraine went into Dalton's room. A scary monster was standing in a corner of the room. When Lorraine asked who it was and what it wanted, it replied it was a visitor and it was here to claim Dalton's body. Josh is skeptical, but just then Lorraine sees the same demon right behind Josh. It growls at her. She screams out in fright. The very same instant, noises of things banging and breaking start coming from Dalton's room. They rush up to his room. Dalton's room is a war zone, completely ransacked. Dalton is also thrown on the ground, but he is not hurt, still breathing. This attack shakes Josh out of his skeptical trance. He doesn't protest when Lorraine brings in Elise Renier to help with Dalton. Elise turns up at the Lambert house with her two assistants, Stephen and Tucker. Josh doesn't remember who Elise is, but she does. Elise steps into Dalton's room and immediately senses the presence of the demon. She asks them to keep the lights off. The demon is on the ceiling. She describes the demon, while Stephen sketches out her description. The demon's face is blood red in color, like that of a lipstick, while the rest of its hideous body is black in color. Elise then informs the Lambert couple that Dalton had unwittingly astral projected his soul into the further. Now his soul is trapped there. That is why his body appears to be in a coma in this real world. The dead souls in the further had smelled Dalton's spiritless body, and now they are crowding around Dalton's body to claim it as their own. These are the souls Renee had been seeing in both the houses. Elise then offers to help the Lamberts. Initially, Josh is unwilling to take Elise's help, but then he sees all the scary drawings in the Dalton's room that Dalton had drawn. He realizes what Elise is saying might be true. He decides to give Elise a chance. Stephen and Tucker set up their cameras. Elise puts on her mask. Lights are dimmed. Search for Dalton, lost in the further, begins. Elise finds him, but Dalton does not want to talk to them. He fears that if the lipstick-faced demon in the further was to hear him, he would hurt him. He begs his parents to help him, but the lipstick-faced demon interrupts them. He threatens Elise that he knew who she was and that he was going to kill her. At that instant, the link between the further and Elise is broken. So is the boundary between the further and the Lambert home. Tortured souls invade the Lambert home, but it is the lipstick-faced demon who wreaks the most havoc. He puppeteers Dalton's body to attack Renai, Josh, and others. Though body is that of Dalton, the power puppeteering it is that of the demon. Everybody is thrown around like they are rag dolls. Chaos and fear ensue. Finally, Elise steps in. She grabs Dalton and commands the demon to leave Dalton alone. The tortured souls cannot defy the authority Elise holds and leave. Dalton is not hurt. Later, Elise and Lorraine unfold for Josh, his forgotten childhood. Renee and Josh both are shocked to learn that Josh, too, can astral project. Elise then gently breaks to Josh and Renai the worst news they can ever get as parents. If Josh doesn't get back his son from the further, then Dalton's soul will never return to his physical body. Josh is not going to let his son suffer in that terrible place. With Elise's help, he steps into the further. In the further, he comes across some really sad, tortured, terrifying souls. But he finally manages to make it to the attic of his old house replica in the further. Dalton guides him. Dalton's soul has been held there by the lipstick-faced demon. Josh opens the attic door. Deep inside the attic, a red door, lit up by a lamp, stares back at him. Josh recalls Dalton's drawing of the red door. The fact that Dalton saw this red door and returned to his body to draw its picture meant he went there more than once. No wonder the demon captured him. As Josh approaches the red door, he is attacked by the long-haired fiend, but with Elise's help, Josh overpowers the fiend. Josh opens the red door. He finds his son. Dalton is held captive in chains and is sobbing. Josh frees him, but the lipstick-faced demon becomes aware of Josh's presence. He attacks Josh. The attack is so powerful, it is felt in the real-world Lambert home, too. Josh realizes the demon is too strong for him. He picks up Dalton and runs for their lives. From the old house replica into the pitch black of the further. But there, they are hounded by the dead souls. Josh cannot find his way out, so Renai calls to him. She asks him to follow her voice. But not only Josh, the dead souls follow her voice, too. Right into the new Lambert home. They start crawling out from all corners in the Lambert house. Josh and Dalton finally make their way to their home, but the front door is locked, so they get in through the back door. Josh is now quite tired, so once inside the house, he stops for a moment to catch his breath. He sends Dalton ahead to safety. Dalton runs in the house, but he is attacked by the lipstick face. Dalton kicks and crawls his way back to his physical body. Meanwhile, Josh encounters his dread, the old bride in black, holding a candle for him. Standing in the further outside the house Josh is standing in right now. He can see her through the window. The rage of a lost childhood bubbles up in Josh. He approaches her, screams at her that he was not afraid of her anymore, so she should leave him. The bride in black grins, then she disappears. Josh and Dalton's souls come back to their respective bodies. Both are back in the real world. Relief and happiness descends on the Lambert home. Lorraine, Renee, and Dalton are in the kitchen. Josh and Elise are outside, talking. When Josh hands Elise some old photographs, she notices his hands. They are old, wrinkled, withered, like that of an old person, like that of an old woman. A fearful Elise starts having doubts about Josh's identity, so she quickly takes a picture of Josh with Tucker's camera. The flash lights him up and the room for a split second. Instead of Josh, Elise sees the old bride in black in the room. Her doubts are confirmed. Josh now gets really angry. He grabs her in a fit of rage and strangles her to death. Even though the body and emotions are that of Josh, the mentality and nature is that of a cruel, hateful bride in black. Bride in black had claimed Josh's body. Renee comes out and is shocked to see Elise dead. She tries to find Josh, but he has left the room. When she comes back, she sees the camera on the ground. Renee goes through the photographs. Dread settles in her mind when she realizes who the returned Josh is. Just then, Josh comes back and taps on Renee's shoulder. Fear crowds Renee's face. The story ends here. But how did Bride in Black take hold of Josh's body? I guess she tricked him. When Josh came into the house carrying Dalton, he was in the replica of his new house in the further. He sees the old woman in the window. However, it is not a window. It's a mirror in the real world of New Lambert home, where this seance is taking place. The old bride in black is standing in front of the mirror, in the bathroom, in the real world, in the New Lambert home, while Josh is still in the further. Josh thinks the old woman is standing outside his replica house in the further. So here's the scene. Josh is in the further, while the old woman is in his real world house. This made it very easy for the old woman to claim Josh's body, because she had been chipping away at him for years. Maybe if Josh hadn't confronted her, he might have raced back to claim his physical body, but now the old bride in black locked Josh's soul out of his own physical body. His soul was now in the further. This is a very interesting facet of the story. Josh's soul is not that of a dead person, yet it is in the further, a place not meant for the souls of living person, but his living body has already been claimed. Now his soul is a homeless soul left to wander the further. What would the lipstick-faced demon do with Josh's homeless soul? What happens to Josh in the further? Will the bride in black kill Josh's family too, just like she killed Elise? Subscribe for more videos.